Before he was Hollywood's go-to wrecking ball, Jason Statham was just a street hustler turned diver turned madman with a camera in his face. But the real chaos, it's what went down off the screen. Fistfights, last-minute rewrites, insane stunts, and million-dollar paydays. This is the raw, behind-the-scenes ride through Statham's biggest hits. Buckle up. Jason Statham made his unforgettable debut in Guy Ritchie's Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels, 1998. The film was gritty, chaotic, and dripping with London swagger. A perfect storm to launch a raw talent like Statham. Behind the scenes, the cast and crew talked about the tight shooting schedule and a shoestring budget of just $1.35 million. It was a gamble. Would audiences eat up this Cockney crime comedy? The gamble paid off big time. The film grossed $28.1 million worldwide. No blockbuster by Hollywood standards, but a smash success for a debut indie. Jason's paycheck was modest, reportedly around $6,000, but that small payday was a huge investment in his future. After Lock, Stock turned heads, Jason Statham reunited with Guy Ritchie for round 2, Snatch 2000. This time, the stakes were higher. The cast was stacked. Brad Pitt, Benicio del Toro, and Jason was no longer just background noise. Behind the scenes, the script barely made it to actors on time. Ritchie rewrote lines on the fly, and the vibe on set was organized mayhem. Jason was still green, but he came in ready, nailing scenes with dry wit and street-level authenticity that Ritchie didn't even have to direct much. He just let him go. The budget, $10 million. The worldwide gross, a knockout, $83.5 million. Snatch wasn't just a hit, it was an all-time cult titan. Then came The Transporter, 2002. The moment Jason Statham became Jason Statham. No ensemble, no backup, just one man, one mission, and a whole lot of broken bones. Playing Frank Martin, the elite driver with his own brutal code of conduct, Jason took the lead in a role custom built to show off his real-life martial arts skills and stunt work. Here's the wild part. He did most of the stunts himself, including that now iconic oil slick fight scene. Producers were nervous, but Jason insisted. No doubles, no safety net, just fists, flips, and footwork. The budget hovered around $21 million, modest for an action flick, but the payoff? $43.9 million worldwide, and a franchise was born. Jason's payday? About $750,000. His first real movie star check. After turning heads as the ice-cold driver in The Transporter, Jason Statham hit the gas again, this time with the heat cranked up and the stakes twice as high. Transporter 2, 2005 wasn't just a sequel. It was an adrenaline overdose. Set in the blazing streets of Miami, Jason's Frank Martin was now guarding a diplomat's son until a bioterrorist plot throws everything into chaos. And if you thought the first film had wild stunts, Jason went off the rails for this one. Literally, he insisted on doing nearly every stunt himself, from bone-breaking brawls to that insane moment where he jumps a car onto a moving helicopter. Crew members swore the man had a death wish, but Jason, he just called it Tuesday. The film's $32 million budget turned into an $85 million global payday. Critics were split, but fans didn't care. Jason was officially in the big leagues. Just when Hollywood thought it had figured out Jason Statham, he flipped the script and the accelerator completely. Crank 2006 was like watching an action movie on a Red Bull binge. Jason played Chev Chelios, a hitman injected with a poison that kills him if his heart rate drops. Translation: he has to keep adrenaline pumping non-stop or die. The shoot? Pure chaos. Jason performed insane stunts and kept his energy sky high through grueling, non-stop takes. The director pushed for a frenetic pace, and Jason delivered, even improvising wild moments that made the film feel like an untamed roller coaster. The budget, a modest $12 million. The worldwide gross, a solid $42 million. Enough to prove that Jason's chaotic charm could carry a film. And his paycheck, around $3 million. Not that bad for a role that was basically pure, unfiltered Jason. 2 years later, he took a darker, more mechanical turn in Death Race, 2008. A gritty reboot of a cult classic, Jason was Jensen Ames, framed and thrown into a brutal prison where inmates battle to the death in souped-up cars. It was gritty, violent, and packed with jaw-dropping car stunts. Jason's stunt work was next level, and the tension on set was real. This wasn't your typical action flick. With a budget of $45 million, the film revved up to $75 million worldwide. Jason pocketed an estimated $8 million, proving he was ready to lead big-budget thrillers and bring raw physicality with every punch and wheel spin. By 2010, Jason Statham wasn't just a solo act. He was part of a full-on action supergroup. Enter The Expendables, Sylvester Stallone's throwback to 80s muscle fest glory with an all-star cast of action legends. Jason played Lee Christmas, a deadly knife expert and Stallone's right-hand man. Behind the scenes, the chemistry was electric but intense. These were seasoned vets who'd seen it all, pushing each other harder on set. Jason threw himself into the fight scenes with signature grit, even doing many of his own stunts despite the heavy choreography and the big-name pressure. The movie had an $80 million budget and blasted past expectations, grossing $274 million worldwide. Jason's paycheck reportedly hit around $6 million, a solid deal for joining an ensemble that was rewriting action movie history. Not one to rest on his laurels, Jason returned for The Expendables 2, 2012, turning up the volume and the carnage. This time, the cast expanded, the explosions got bigger, and the knife fights sharper. Jason pushed himself even harder. During one brutal fight sequence, he reportedly broke his nose, but kept filming. That's commitment. Critics gave mixed reviews, but audiences ate it up. The film doubled down on the fun and made $315 million worldwide on a $100 million budget. Jason's salary jumped to around $10 million, cementing his spot as a dependable action star who could anchor blockbuster franchises. By 2015, Jason Statham wasn't just any action star. He was ready to shake up one of the biggest movie franchises ever, Furious 7. He stepped in as Deckard Shaw, a tough, no-nonsense bad guy with a serious grudge. His very first scene, a hospital blowing up behind him while he walks away, cool as ice, like he owns the place. It was the kind of entrance that made everyone stop and say, "Who is this guy?" Behind the camera, Jason went all in. His fights with Vin Diesel and Dwayne Johnson were some of the toughest, most carefully planned in the whole series. He even did most of his own stunts, risking it all to keep the action real. The set had its dark moments, too. Paul Walker's sudden death hit everyone hard. Jason stayed professional and respectful, understanding the heavy mood, but still giving a fierce performance. The movie smashed records, pulling in a massive $1.5 billion worldwide. And Jason, he earned a cool $15 million, sealing his spot as a true heavyweight in Hollywood's biggest action family. After Furious 7, Jason Statham returned for The Fate of the Furious, but this time, things shifted. Behind the scenes, Jason's relationship with Vin Diesel was reportedly tense, but on set, the two kept things professional, even sharing a few laughs during intense action rehearsals. One of Jason's standout moments, the airplane baby rescue scene, was legendary for how real it felt. Jason insisted on doing most of his stunts himself, even the ones involving precarious balances on a moving plane set. The director later said Jason's focus made the entire crew step up their game. The movie crushed it, making over $1.2 billion worldwide, and Jason scored a hefty $20 million paycheck. Right after wrapping up a globe-trotting spy thriller, Jason didn't slow down. He dove headfirst into The Meg, a totally different beast. This time, the challenge wasn't just acting, but training for the intense underwater scenes. Jason worked closely with professional divers to learn real techniques for deep-sea rescue, even spending hours getting comfortable with bulky diving gear. On set, the animatronic megalodon was massive and intimidating, and Jason admitted it was both creepy and exciting to act opposite the giant mechanical shark. The practical effects gave a sense of realism the CGI couldn't match, and the cast had to constantly remind themselves it was just a machine. Despite mixed reviews, The Meg surprised everyone by pulling in over $530 million worldwide, proving Jason's star power extends far beyond the fast cars. Which of his roles is your favorite? Let us know in the comments.